Hey, what's up? Duff here. We are getting ready to leave. I just reset my trip odometer. It's 3:38 on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, so that makes this what? Thanksgiving Eve. And we are departing for Texas in my Model Y long range. Let's see what happens, man. It's gonna be an adventure, I have a feeling. So this is, let's see, this is my first long trip in my Model Y long range. Earlier in the year, Cindy and I took my standard range Model Y up to the Cape Canaveral area. So that's a decent little trip, but this is gonna be my first out-of-state trip in the car. This is gonna be my first time crossing the Mississippi River in probably 5 years. I used to take a lot of road trips, not so many recent years. And the distance is somewhere in the neighborhood of, I don't know if this will even tell me. I don't think it will. Yeah, this is just giving me directions to my first supercharging stop, which is going to be in Brandon, Florida, evidently. And it's supposed to take almost 3 hours to get there. So yeah, that's exciting, right? I took my Model 3 to Pennsylvania, when was that? Yeah, 2020, last summer. I still have my Model 3 standard SR Plus, and I took that to Pennsylvania for my brother's 50th birthday, and that was my first real long road trip in a Tesla, and it really wasn't that bad, and hopefully you'll get to see that once again here. And you know, some people are always concerned about, oh man, it's such a pain in the ass to have to supercharge. It really isn't, at least in my experience, and we'll see what you think. And I'm curious how this is going to contrast having a significantly bigger battery in this car, as far as you know, being able to go long distance. Should be interesting all the way around. And yes, I am still slightly sick. I've developed a cold like Saturday night. I was worried about, oh my God, you know, COVID, do I have COVID? And I did get a COVID self-test, and took it on Sunday, and I tested negative. So I think I just have a good old-fashioned cold, just not used to it. It's been, I think it's been like 2 years probably since I've been sick at all. So hopefully I'm on the downside of that. In the meantime, I have been relying on Dayquil and NyQuil to keep me going. Now, some commentary I got back when I did the Model 3 road trip was people were more interested in getting like some number updates at each stop, which I did sometimes I didn't. So I am going to try to remember to, you know, give my miles covered, charge level. I am starting at 100%. I had the car charging at home all day, so I'm starting at a totally full battery. So that will be my starting point. Temperature right now in Southwest Florida, a very pleasant 75 degrees. I expect to be experiencing significantly lower temperature as we progress. And one other quick thing, experienced Tesla owners / drivers will notice this. Navigate on autopilot. And you'll be like, hey Duff, you only have that when you have full self-driving. That's a full self-driving feature. You're right. That is a full self-driving feature. And the reason I have it is I actually activated the full self-driving subscription for 1 month, specifically for this trip. I thought it would make the experience a little bit better. It would give me an opportunity to evaluate full self-driving, see how it's been. I did have full self-driving on my Model 3 Standard Range Plus. I did not have it on my base Model Y, and I do not have it on this car until 2 days ago. So I now have full self-driving enabled, and it'll be interesting to see how it's changed, gotten better, gotten worse, we'll see, since I last had it. So full self-driving is along for the ride. Just picked up the first of what I'm sure will be many Dunkin' Donut coffees consumed on this journey. And I wouldn't be surprised if I have a second one later this evening, just to keep me going. At this point, I don't have a designated stopping time. I guess it's just kind of a wait and see thing. I imagine myself driving until like at least 11 o'clock tonight, maybe. We'll see. We'll see how this all goes. But Dunkin' Donuts will help fuel the ride. So the early part of my journey is not off to a very promising start. My one buddy at work said, "Oh man, traffic's going to be terrible You know, when you leave in the afternoon, I'm like, nah, really? I think most people that are traveling for Thanksgiving have already done it. I was wrong. I've been in this stop and go traffic here on I-75 for at least a half an hour, maybe 45 minutes. Yeah, it's annoying. I also happened to, when I first comprehended doing this trip, I punched in Naples to Dallas distance, and I think it came up to like right around 1,000 miles or so. I'm like, okay, well that's a little less than driving to Pennsylvania, like 200 miles less than Pennsylvania. So yeah, I can make this work. Well, once I punched it into the car and I looked at the total trip distance from where I'm going, the distance is 1,290 miles. Aww. So it's actually slightly longer than going to Pennsylvania. You can, you know, when you expand this, you can scroll down. You can look at the, you know, where you would be at each of the stops, the charge stops along the way. If I drove straight through, I still would not get there until like 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So I'm going to have to, you know, go as late as I safely can go tonight, get maybe 5-6 hours of sleep, and just be right back out on the road, just so I can get there by, you know, 9-10 o'clock tomorrow night. So it's kind of crazy, kind of a lack of proper planning on my part, which isn't all that unusual, but yeah, needless to say, it's gonna be a long drive. Welcome back. It's now nighttime. I actually just stopped at a rest stop. I was hoping I could hold it until my supercharging stop, which is pretty soon. We're going to the Ocala for the first supercharging stop. But I had you know, an extra large coffee, and I've been stuck in 2 or 3 significant traffic delays, so I felt like it would be best to empty the tank now, if you know what I mean. We are now heading back out onto the road. Once we get to the supercharger, you may or may not be able to see that clearly in the camera, but the car is preconditioning the battery pack for supercharging, and my understanding of what that actually means is it heats it up, I believe. It gets it to a certain temperature, which is optimal for supercharging. So it's only 16 miles away, so I'll be back with you shortly. Okay, so here we are. It's estimating a half-hour charge time. It says that we've gone 165 miles so far, 48 kilowatt hours used, 290 watt hours per mile so far. So, okay, so let's charge and get some food. Okay, so yeah, charging's done. You know, people always, you know, like I mentioned, they think that it's so inconvenient to have to charge when you're doing road trips, but really, I mean, it just gets incorporated into other stops that you would make otherwise. You know, I just walked to a nearby pizza shop, took a leak, ate 2 slices of pizza, and I came back, and it was ready to go 10 minutes prior to me even getting back. So supercharging on the road is not the huge inconvenience that you might think it is. So now it says that my next supercharging stop would be about, how far? Another 2 hours away. So am I getting out here correctly? About 2 hours away. So we'll see how I feel at that point. See if I feel recharged. Oh, what the hell? Oh my God. Okay, now I think I'm going the right way. So yeah, we'll check in. But so far, so good. Here we are at our second check-in, second supercharging stop in Gainesville, Florida. Let's see where we're at here. Since the last charge, another 129.6 miles. We used 43 kilowatt hours, averaged 333 watt hours per mile, and we are at 295 miles. So I'm going to charge up here, and probably, I'm not sure if I'm going to go to the next supercharger stop or try to find a hotel in between. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. Energy-wise, I'm still hanging in there, so we'll see what happens. One thing I did notice, that even though it's, what time is it? It's 9:48 p.m., there's like 7 or 8 Tesla's here charging this late. I'm kind of surprised. And this is one of those high usage superchargers. At high usage superchargers, they won't let you charge beyond 80%, which is fine. It says, let's see, 40 minutes, 40 minutes to charge. Unfortunately, I'm in my cargo shorts and t-shirt, and it's 55 degrees outside. And so I think I'm just gonna be hanging in here, watching YouTube videos or Netflix or something. So good times. Stopping. Happy Thanksgiving. It's 12:10. I'm in Madison, Florida, and we'll talk more tomorrow. Tess. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Thanksgiving. It's excuse me. Still coughing. Let's get this out here. Get my Dayquil. Need to get my Dayquil in me. You know, this cold seems to be moving down into the chest, which is always a great thing. It's very pleasant. So I didn't get here until a little after midnight last night. I think by the time I got checked in and took a shower, I closed my eyes about 12:45, I believe. Set the alarm at 6 a.m. and went down and had the hotel breakfast, which was at 6:30, which was nothing spectacular, but it's fine. So now we're out on the road. It's 7 o'clock. It's 6:59. Departing. The next charging stop is Marianna, Florida. I did stop at Lake City last night. I didn't put the camera on for that. I was maybe semi-delirious at that point. But we're, let's see, how far into the journey are we here? Trip 388 miles into the trip. And the bad news is this morning when I punched in distance to Denton, Texas from my current location, it gave begin trip, man. It gave me a distance of 959 miles to go. It's not good. I've done a lot of Western road trips, and I believe the most that I've ever done in one day is right around there. There was one day where we drove across the entire width of Texas on Route 10, and that was over 900 miles, and that was freaking brutal. Now, back then, we were road tripping in a old Chevy conversion van, so it was comfortable. You know, conversion van has lots of space, but that was with multiple people. You know, it was me and Cindy, and I've also done it with Allison, and you know, you're switching off driving. So obviously, I don't have another driver. Luckily, I do have autopilot, and I plan to be leaning on that rather heavily to help me get through it. But man, this is gonna be a haul, man. I wouldn't be surprised if I don't pull into my sister's place until like 11 o'clock tonight or something like that. It is going to be a chore. But it's my fault. When I first entertained the idea of doing this, I just punched in Naples to Dallas because, you know, my sister always described Denton as a suburb of Dallas, and I got a number of a little over 1,000 miles. So yeah, I guess I should have put in her actual address so I could have provisioned my time better. I'll fill you in as we go. It's going to be quite the adventure. Oh, happy Thanksgiving if I didn't say that already. I probably did. Okay, here we are, my first supercharging stop of Thanksgiving. We are behind Dickey's Barbecue Pit. Sometimes the locations of these superchargers is kind of strange. They're just they're not where you would expect. Look at this charge rate, man. Battery was very low. It was at like 7 or 6% when I got here. Now it's already showing 15. 236 kilowatt hours. That is high speed. So it's interesting, the strategy here, like it doesn't have me charging here very long. 15 minutes, I think. Yeah, 15 minutes here. And then it wants me to go to the next supercharger at Crestview, Florida, and only charge 20 minutes. So instead of charging for a long period of time, because what happens is as you get to a higher state of charge, the charge rate slows down. So I guess it is calculating that stopping more often for less time actually overall is a time saving. And there's not much to do around here anyway, so I think I'm going to listen to it and just charge for 15 minutes, and we'll go from there. Let's see, the total mileage, we are now at 515 miles, consuming 167 kilowatt hours with an average of 324 watt hours per mile. Since the last charge, I've gone 174.8 miles, 61 kilowatt hours, and average 347 watt hours per mile. It's quite chilly this morning. It was like 43 degrees when I went out to the car. Had frost on the windows, the whole deal. So kind of a different experience. You don't get to experience that very much living in the Naples area. So charge and continue. It's going good. It's just gonna be a brutally long day today, but driving a Tesla long distance is different than driving any other vehicle that I've owned long distance. So I'm hoping it will not be horrible. Okay, our next supercharging stop again. It's the strategy of a short supercharging session, just getting enough charge to get from one supercharger to the next, which overall is supposed to give you the quickest time. Where are we? I'm still in Florida, and the next, right here we are. So I'm not even to Pensacola yet. And the next supercharging stop will be in Mobile, Alabama. And that one, they're actually predicting a longer charge session there in Mobile of 40 minutes. So let's just quick check the numbers. Yeah, 'cause we only went about 88 miles on that leg. 603 miles altogether. 197 kilowatt hours consumed so far. So I'm really getting kind of sleepy. I almost wish I was here longer, because then I could put the chair back and close my eyes, but I'm not going to really have time to do that. So I'm going to probably go to the Starbucks that's behind me and get something, and I guess something with caffeine in it to keep me awake. So. Okay, another supercharging stop right around the Mobile, Alabama area. Projecting the 30-minute charge. So that was only 107 miles between charges there. That was a quick little trip. Up to 711 miles total on the trip. My ETA is a little bit before 11 p.m. at this point. What I have started to do is, those of you familiar with autopilot, you can only use auto steering up to 80 miles an hour, and I was consistently getting passed by people, even setting the speed limit right around there. So I've been manually driving, so you can interpret what that means, to try to make up time, because I got a hell of a long way to go. And I'm trying to get there as quickly as I can. So, there might be some more manual driving than I originally planned, due to my underestimation of the monumental driving task in front of me. So yeah, I'm gonna go. There's a McDonald's nearby. I'm not sure if it's open. I drove by it and I didn't see a whole lot of activity, so I'm afraid that they might be closed. But I'm trying to get some sort of food, because I didn't plan well for food. I didn't pack any snacks. So I got my water here, and I have my empty Starbucks coffee. So I'm going to go try to secure some sort of sustenance. So yeah, it's an adventure. I knew it would be, so it's living up to its billing. Hey guys, this is more of an effort just to keep me alert. This is getting challenging. Like I mentioned last night, I went to sleep at about 1:45 in the morning, had the alarm set at 6 a.m. So roughly 5 hours of sleep, right into my longest drive in one day probably ever. So yeah, I'm feeling it. At that last charging spot, I was hoping that I could grab food at McDonald's or whatever, but that McDonald's was closed. But the only thing that was open was a dollar food store. So I went to the dollar food store and I got a bag of Chex Mix, a Yoo-hoo, some popcorn, and some generic Select Choice Chewy chocolate chip granola bars. So that was my lunch, my Thanksgiving lunch. Very delicious and nutritious. I was kind of pissed off. I originally took my one wheel out to go look around, and I could tell right away that it didn't feel normal, and I hopped off of it, and the tire feels basically flat. And I had pumped that up a little while ago, so I'm gonna have to hope that either my sister has a pump I can use, or I might have to go out and get a pump, and hoping that the tire holds air. So I wound up riding the one wheel back, and then got on my InMotion V12 and rode that over to the dollar store. And there's some. I kept the V12 with me throughout the store because I don't know, there were some things that didn't make me feel very settled about the location. So I just walked it up and down the aisles with me. And now I'm driving. This is one of my longer segments. It's like a 3-hour pull here. We have a little more than an hour of projected time. I'm no longer on Route 10. I'm on, what am I on here? Highway 49 right now, which doesn't have designated rest stops. So I made my own rest stop a little while ago where I just pulled off the side of the highway and walked into the woods and relieved myself and came back. I'm just curious what my new estimated time for arrival in Texas is. Still 11:11 p.m. So it's not getting any quicker, unfortunately. So that's the update. I'll be back in an hour. All right, we have officially entered into the grind yourself into the dirt portion of this commute. I am really tired of driving at this point. My lower back is killing me, but we're not there yet. We are, let's see, 900 miles in total have been covered, which means there's still probably about 400 to go. On the last segment, I was 188 miles, consuming 55 kilowatt hours. So, yeah, let me just plug in real quick here. I'm not really sure how long this charge session is supposed to be. 25 minutes, it says. Okay. It's been tough. You know, some of these stops, they don't have. It's because it's Thanksgiving. You know, some of the stuff that you normally could do while you're supercharging is not available. Bathroom facilities have not been readily available. Hence why I peed by the side of the road. And what I really need to do is take a nap. But 25 minutes isn't a lot of time to do that. So we'll figure something out, guys. Yeah. Let me just see what's the plan here. So we're in Pearl, Mississippi. So, okay. So we charge here for 25 minutes to get us to Monroe, Louisiana. And then there's a long charge there, 55 minutes. It's a long charge there. And then, okay, yeah, it's a long charge. It's a long drive. Oh, wow. Because it says get to Monroe at 5:27 p.m. and then at 9:11 get to Lindale, Texas for my final charge before arriving at my destination. More work to do. Now we are sitting in Monroe, Louisiana. Originally it was saying that it wanted to do a 55-minute charge here, and then the last charging station would be in Texas. Now it's suggesting doing 20 minutes here and then going to Shreveport and charging there longer, and then charging a final time in Dallas. My preference would be to charge longer here and then just have one more stop in Dallas or in Texas somewhere. So I think I'm going to let it charge up higher here than what it's suggesting. Because I need a freaking break, man. I need to close my eyes or do something. We're at a hotel parking lot, which is right next to a mall, which of course everything is closed. So again, I have no options really for convenient options for food. So I don't know, I might just go in the hotel here and see if they have any food, or I don't know, man. This day is just, it's ridiculously long. It really is. That was another 120 miles since the last charge, 41 kilowatt hours used, 343 watt hours per mile. We are now over 1,000 miles for the trip, 1,018 miles, having consumed 326 kilowatt hours over those 1,018 miles. So for my destination, I still have 333 miles to go with an estimated time of 6 hours and 9 minutes. See, it's crazy because I saw like the estimated time was, you know, arrival time was like 11-ish, 11 p.m., 11:30 p.m. And I wasn't even thinking how it's taking into consideration the time shift. I'm on Central Time now. So if I was still on Eastern Time, it would be driving until after midnight again. Yeah, I mean, I'm considering if I want to just get a hotel instead of rolling into my sister's at midnight get a hotel, get up, you know, get some decent sleep tonight, and then just go there first thing in the morning. I don't know. I'm going to probably call her and talk to her about that, because it might be a better option. It really might be. So that's what I'm going to look into next. Still sitting here at the charger, and there's been a change in plans. I talked to my sister, and she agreed that my plan to stop a couple hours short of her place and just grab a hotel makes more sense. I'll get a little bit more sleep, be a little bit more well rested. They don't have to stay up until after midnight waiting for me. So that's what we're going to do. What I'm doing is I'm charging an extra amount of time here, and I'm going to try to go to the Lindale area, the Lindale supercharger, and find a hotel around there. Maybe charge up tonight, maybe charge up I'll probably charge up tonight. Get a hotel in Lindale, and then drive the rest of the way to Denton. I went into this hotel. They don't have any formal food. They just had snack food, but there's a really nice kid inside that he thought that Applebee's was open, and it's not. But he suggested that I try Uber Eats. I'm like, okay, well, I do have the app. I've never actually used it. So what I'm doing is I actually ordered a meal from, there's a Subway nearby. I've never actually used the Uber Eats. Like I said, I've had the app, but I've never used it. But it looks like they will actually deliver it here to me at the supercharger, my tuna sub, which is kind of awesome. And it should be arriving at 6:35. Latest arrival by 7:05. I was skeptical that they would even be open. The Subway was even open on Thanksgiving evening, but evidently they are. Hopefully this turns out well. I'll eat some real food instead of snacks from dollar store, which has been all my food has consisted of today, other than breakfast at the hotel. So road trips are always an adventure. Like I said, one way or the other, there's always an adventure involved. Oh, and the guy inside the hotel, he actually was nice enough to give me a Hershey bar. I said, I have no problem paying for it. He said, nah, no problem. Happy Thanksgiving. So yeah, whoever works at a Town Place Suites Marriott in where am I at, Monroe, Louisiana, you're a good dude. Appreciate it. Hi. Things have not gone as I hoped. When I last left you, I was supposedly waiting for my Uber Eats delivery. I waited for about 25 minutes. The Uber Eats app was showing that the order was placed and it was being prepared and getting ready to be picked up. And yeah, I was just kind of waiting. The car was almost fully charged, and I was just waiting for the food to show up. And then all of a sudden, I get another notification: your order has been canceled. And then I got a follow-up message saying that it was canceled because the location was closed. So even though the app was showing that all this prep was going on for my meal, actually nothing was happening because the place is closed. Yeah, that was kind of annoying. So instead, I just had another generic chewy chocolate chip granola bar. And now we are in Shreveport, Louisiana. This charging station, from I don't know how much you can see here. There's a mall in front of me, but I drove through a kind of sketchy area here to get here. Didn't give me the most reassuring feeling. I'm here all by myself in let's see, we've got 8 stations here, or 10 maybe, yeah. So basically now, the new plan is I'm gonna be charging here for a little bit, and then I'm gonna head towards the next charging station at Lindale, but I'm not necessarily going to get to Lindale. I don't feel like I need to get to Lindale. I want to get back out on Route 20 and look for just any chain hotel. Last night I stayed at a Best Western. If I can find another Best Western, that's fine. Get there at a somewhat reasonable time. Get a little bit more sleep than I got last night, more than the 5 hours I got last night or whatever. And just so I feel better to get up and go tomorrow morning. So that's the plan. Charge here for a few minutes and get the hell out of here. Looks like Shreveport might have like casinos and stuff. I passed some stuff that looked like casinos. I don't know. It didn't look like the kind of place I'd want to visit, to be quite honest. So continuing on. Okay, I'm at my last supercharging stop. Actually, it'll be my last supercharging stop before I get to my sister's tomorrow if I charge it fully. I'm in Lindale, Texas. Looks like a kind of small place, at least from what I can see here. This supercharger only has three spots. I've never seen a supercharger with only 3 spots. It's just me though. So it says I need about 25 minutes. I have gone That was another 104 miles since my last charge. Total mileage, 1,228 miles. Consuming 403 kilowatt hours, averaging 328 watt hours per mile. So yeah, this is my last check-in for today. I'll finish it up tomorrow when I finally arrive at my sister's, and while I'm charging, I need to figure out my accommodations for tonight. So yeah, it's been a brutal day. Brutal, but tomorrow's a new one, so till then, see you then. Good morning. It's Friday morning. It's Black Friday. Okay, here we are. I'm charging at the Denton. I just finished charging at the Denton supercharger. You'll see the total trip mileage. I'm only a few miles from my sister's house, so I'm going to call this good to go here. 1,362 miles, 451 kilowatt hours consumed at an average of 331 watt hours per mile. Wow, my hair is looking on point there. Wow, it is looking really good. Oh my God. The good news is I'm feeling less ill. Still get some coughing fits. I guess I should keep this closer to my mouth. But yeah, journey's at its end. It's been quite the adventure. Maybe I'll film on the way back. Maybe I won't. I don't know. I hope you found it interesting. Feel free to leave your comments, suggestions, ideas, and thoughts below. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a big thumbs up. If this is your first time visiting the channel, please consider subscribing. And if you're going to subscribe, you can always hit the notify bell, which is over there somewhere. And that's all I have for you for now. My first long road trip in the Tesla Model Y. It was long, 1,362 miles in approximately 2 days of driving is a lot. On the way back, I'm going to be doing it over 2 days as well, but I'll have more. I'll be leaving earlier on the first day, so it will not be quite as brutal. Hopefully, we'll see. So that's it, guys. Talk to you later. Touching it, bitch.